Welcome back to My Perfect Degree, the channel where we break down the economy and dissect liberal economic models shaping nations worldwide. Today, we're diving deep into a growing problem in one of the world's most admired countries, Canada. What's happening to its cost of living, housing, and immigration policies, and how is this affecting Canadians and newcomers alike? Let's get into it. Canada is facing an unprecedented cost of living crisis. Rising inflation has pushed millions of people into financial struggles. Basic necessities have become a luxury for some. In a survey, many reported skipping meals to afford rent and other essential expenses. Food banks are seeing record numbers of visitors as housing and food prices continue to skyrocket. Let's look at some shocking figures. 2 years ago, the average rent for a two-bedroom apartment in Toronto was CAD $2,000. Today, it's over CAD $2,800, an annual increase of 20%. In many cities, even renting a single room can cost CAD $1.200 a month. To afford a one-bedroom apartment, you'd need to earn double the minimum wage, at least. Buying a home? Forget about it. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, qualifying for a mortgage requires double or triple the average household income, which stands at roughly CAD $70,000. In fact, even the top 10% of earners, those making around CAD $200,000, struggle to own property in these areas. So how did we get here? Justin Trudeau came into office in 2015 with promises of hope and positivity. Often compared to Barack Obama's rise in the US's early days were marked by high approval ratings, and his leadership was seen as a breath of fresh air. But fast forward to today, and those approval ratings have plummeted. Trudeau faces criticism for failing to address the root causes of Canada's housing and cost of living crises. Under his tenure, Canada has also faced an immigration surge. Initially hailed as a strategic move to address labor shortages and an aging population, the rapid influx of immigrants has collided with the country's lack of affordable housing and strained public services. Canada's history is deeply intertwined with immigration. In the 19th century, the government actively promoted immigration to populate the western regions. Over time, the nation moved from a racially selective model to its modern, points-based system, introduced after World War II. This system prioritizes factors like education, language skills, and work experience, making Canada's immigration model a global benchmark. But recent policies have been controversial. Between 2015 and 2023, the number of immigrants surged to record levels. In 2022 alone, Canada welcomed over 400,000 new permanent residents, with plans to reach 500,000 annually by 2025. Yet, housing and infrastructure have not kept pace, creating significant challenges. Canada's housing market is under extreme pressure. Developers face rising costs and labor shortages, which delay construction projects. Meanwhile, temporary residents, including international students and workers, have doubled in number, adding to the demand for housing. Some students reportedly live in basements with as many as 10 people, sharing small spaces divided by curtains. The mismatch between population growth and housing availability has led to shocking situations. In Toronto, some families rent out a single bed in their home for CAD $750 per month. For many, working multiple jobs has become a necessity just to survive. Canada initially framed immigration as the solution to labor shortages and demographic challenges. The government projected that younger, skilled immigrants would rejuvenate the workforce and economy. But this optimism is now met with skepticism. By mid-2023, public opinion shifted. Over 70% of Canadians felt immigration levels were too high, up from 30% a decade earlier. Protests against mass immigration became more common, with critics arguing that the system exacerbates housing shortages and strains public services like healthcare and education. Facing mounting criticism, Trudeau recently announced plans to reduce immigration levels over the next 2 years. He admitted that policy missteps, including the lack of affordable housing investments, have worsened the situation. A bold promise of a nationwide housing plan was made, led by Sean Fraser, the former immigration minister. But skepticism runs high. Many ask, how can the same leadership that created this crisis fix it? The reality is sobering. Canada's per capita economic growth is declining. Inflation continues to erode wages. Housing affordability remains out of reach for millions. Without substantial change, the future looks bleak. By 2050, projections indicate that only 2.5 working-age Canadians will support each retiree, down from 7 to 1 in the 1970s. The system risks collapse if these trends continue unchecked. Canada is not alone in this struggle. Countries like Australia and New Zealand face similar challenges, balancing population growth with housing demand. Yet, Their policies, such as prioritizing affordable housing development, show limited success. This highlights how decades of neglect in housing investments are not easily reversed. So, is Canada still the dream destination for newcomers? It's complicated. While opportunities remain, the cost of living and housing pose significant hurdles. For Canadians, the hope is that bold, systemic changes can restore balance. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. How should Canada tackle these intersecting crises? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to My Perfect Degree. Until next time, stay informed and keep questioning.